recognition. She doesn't need a lot of introduction though. Sarah is at the very top of my organization. She's one of the first coaches I signed up. And for me, it's always exciting because there are actually some people that signed up before Sarah. And you know where they are now because they weren't willing to at least put that hour in every day. I mean, that's one thing, like you guys might see me doing whatever. Sarah is consistent. She shows up every day. She knows exactly what to do every day. I'm like a squirrel with shiny objects, and I recognize that. And so I strive more to be like Sarah all the time. Like I'm always checking in with her. Okay, how are you doing this? Why? What can I do this better? How are you getting all of this done in an hour? You're insane. I'm so proud of you because it's something that's what builds long-term growth in this business. You can come out of the gates hot, but we all know if you come out of the gates hot and then you stop doing those vital behaviors, your business is going to go downhill and quickly, or you're going to be overwhelmed, or you're going to quit, or you're going to have coaches that are going to quit. But it's such a huge reminder to always bring people back to, you don't have to be doing all these bright, shiny trainings and, all this other stuff. Focus on these 3 vital behaviors, set your timer for an hour and go. And so that's what Sarah's going to talk to us about today. She's a 3-star diamond coach. She's due to have her 4th baby, which I'm so excited to meet this little guy. We've been friends, forever. It feels like it's not exactly forever, but it feels like it. And I'm so thankful she's here. So Sarah, take it off mute and let us know about your power hour, your organization, and your top tips because, you're top coach here and I'm excited to see what you do this year.
All right. Thanks, Wendy. Well, I have put together a little slideshow to make it a little bit more professional, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my backstory. Wendy's right. She signed up probably 3 or 4 months before I did. I'm not sure of her exact startup date, but it was like in the fall of 2013, late fall. And I was early 2014.
Yeah, I was the end of November 20.
End of November, okay. So Wendy was just a few months ahead of me. So, and you all know, I have 3 kids. I had a 1-year-old at the time and 1, 3, and 5, I think they were, something like that. I don't know. But bottom line is I was really busy. I didn't sign up as a coach right away. I didn't even buy Shakeology right away. I just did the 21-day fix. And Wendy tried her hardest to get me on Shakeology. And I was like, nope, because I'm really budget conscious and all this kind of stuff. And I needed to really let it soak in and really see the benefit of it. And I did the program and had a lot of success. I shared about it and I got so much, response from people. Wendy's like, Sarah, come on now. You have to coach now. I was like, all right, Wendy, I'll give it a shot for a month. I wanted to see if I could earn back my $15. That's how silly I was. And I did. Obviously, I earned it back really quickly and I got quick success. And immediately I was realizing this is fun and I really like doing this. And, but I also had a crazy busy life. And I would oftentimes message Wendy like, my life's too crazy. How am I going to do this? So I knew right away I had to figure something out. I had to figure this out. So when I started hearing about the power hour, I was like all over it. I'm like, I have to, if I'm going to make this business work, I have to do this or I'm going to flounder. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I will talk about the power hour and how to make it work for you. I'm going to talk about the biggest thing is for me is organizing your time because I know all of you are super busy. Every coach that I've enrolled is busy. I mean, we're all busy. We all have things in our lives. Many of us have children. Many of us have other day jobs. We have other responsibilities. Some of us are single moms. Some of us are married. And sometimes that feels like another child. There's a lot of things. So I think that organizing your time, honestly, is one of the top things I found that I needed to do to make this business work. So that's why I chose this topic. So I'm going to share my screen and see if I can figure this out and go ahead and talk to you a little bit about what has worked for me. I'm not saying it's all going to work for you, but hopefully you can take a nugget and there's something that will help you. All right, organizing your time. All right, so I really wanted to spend a little bit of time on talking about what really time is. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. When I think about some of the top coaches, there's top coaches that have day jobs too. So it cannot be an excuse for me. And I had to really, it took me a while to let go of that excuse, because I did give Wendy that excuse a lot. Like, I'm too busy. I have this going on. I have that going on. And she would say, okay, well, break down, what are you doing during your day? And like, she helped me a lot, even though Wendy says like, I help her with that, but she really did like reality check. You can do this. You can do this. It's one of the things that can be a huge asset to your business, or it can really hold you back. And I think it's really important to kind of look at it like that, because, and I've done this before. I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but when you let your business bleed throughout your whole day, I think that is the worst thing you can do. And that's in my own opinion, because I'm very unfocused. And I do sometimes when I'm at work, yeah, I'll check my phone. If a message pops up, I will look at it. I'm not going to lie. I do that. But it's really important. When I'm working, I need to be working. And when I'm not working, I need to not be working. So it not only helps with your managing of time and focus, but it also, I have a family, and I have people that deserve my attention, and they don't need me to be sitting on my phone. And, I'm not saying I haven't done it, but I really try to create those boundaries for myself. And then I know when it's time to work, I shut the door. Well, I have an office now. I didn't have an office at my old house, but you have to have that space somewhere in your home where you can sort of say, this is my time, and we'll talk a little bit more about creating that time. But it's got to be sacred time for you, because it's really going to make a difference. It really is. And you'll find that you'll be working less, but you'll be more focused with your time. At least that's what's worked for me. So that's my little tidbit about the time issue. So one of the things that, was really important for me in developing a system, and it's been a process. It's not perfect, still not perfect, but I'm still kind of trying to perfect it for myself in my current situation. My goal is to quit my job, which will happen. I'm very certain of that. But currently, this is my life situation, and I want to make it happen. I love this business. I really enjoy doing it, and it's been beneficial for our family for multiple reasons. But you have to ask yourself these questions, like, what do I really want out of this business? So, and I'm hoping that all of you have talked to your coach about this. Like, what do you want this to be a full-time thing? Are you kind of wanting just to be like a part-time thing? Is this just like a hobby? You really have to get real with yourself. Is this something you truly want? Because if it's something you truly want, this is a business. This is the real deal. It's not just something we're doing to play around on the internet. And you really have to have like a serious mind shift, I think, for yourself, so that you can treat it like a business, and then think about how much time are you truly willing to give, and be honest. We certainly don't want you to put too much time or too little time. You have to figure out what's right for you, because at the end of the day, don't want this to be something that's going to overwhelm you at the same time, but it's also got to be something that's got to be effective for you. So you have to have that kind of honest conversation with yourself, figure that out. And I'm kind of missing I'm sorry, let me go back here. And what do I need I can't even read my own slide because it's covered up by faces. And you kind of have to figure out, what do I need to do to make it happen? So those are just kind of things that you have to think about before moving forward. Okay, this is what I did. I'm not saying you have to do that, but this is what I did. I went out to the store and I bought a dry erase board. And now that I have an office, like I said, that's made a big difference for me. It really has. And not everyone has a separate room. I certainly didn't at my last house. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you. But I bought a dry erase board, and it's hung on my wall. I have on it, at the end of each month, I write out my goals for the next month. Like how many coaches I want at Success Club, how much volume I want, how many Success Club points I want myself. And I also write one motivational quote that speaks to me. And something, because we go through different phases in our business where you just it's kind of like with personal development. You want to read something that's going to speak to you and mean something to you. So I do put up a little cheesy quote for myself, but I read it every day. And then I also have my big scary goal. at the bottom of what I want by the end of the year. So I look at it every single day, and it kind of gets me jazzed up when I'm ready to start working. I also purchased a calendar that's on my wall, a dry erase calendar, so that at the end of the month, I'll write out the following month, or, and I'll put all my groups in there, what challenge groups I have going on. I'll put Zoom calls on there. I put, Coach Basics, if I'm running a Coach Basics and Diamond Training or whatever it is, so I can just visually see it. It's just easier for me. I'm such a visual person. And then I also write up there, like, what are the sales for the month, just kind of visually, so I can see what's going on in each month. I also went out and bought a calendar. I'm a paper pencil person. I've tried doing things online, and I found that I was not good with that. That's just a personal thing. And I think that's something you have to kind of figure out on your own, because there's so many different organization systems as far as follow-ups and things like that. But I bought I think it's called Plum Paper Planner. And I know there's a Passion Planner that's awesome as well. I love it because I carry it with me to work. Maybe it will be different when I quit my job, but right now, like, it's with me when I go to work, because on my lunch hour, I do about 30 minutes of work. And I'm going to talk about that soon too. 30 minutes of Beachbody work. So that's just something that has got me started. And I felt like I was able to get a system started for myself. Because I really think that to be able to reach goals, you have to have a plan. You can't just kind of like, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to go through my friend list and I'm going to message a few people. You really have to be a lot more systematic than that if you want this to be a sustainable business for yourself. So, and again, that's just what's working for me. One thing to kind of think about, and I know we've probably all heard these things like, break down your week. How do you really spend your week? How many hours are in a week? But truly, you really do need to do that. How are you truly spending your time? Like, be real with yourself. Like, do a full autopsy on what you're doing with your time. And what areas are you wasting time? And truly, like, I was spending a lot of time in front of the TV. I found that as I started building this business, I was realizing I don't need to watch that much TV. I still watch TV. I watch about an hour a night still. And that's plenty for me. And quite frankly, I get a lot more out of interacting with you all and with doing things online and building my business. And quite frankly, I spend more time with my kids too. I'm not sitting in front of the boob tube. So I figured out how to organize it so that I'm still feeling like I'm getting my downtime and building my business. So figuring out what your time waster is, I figured that was mine. So I did cut out a lot of TV time for myself and figure out the areas that are important, that are like non-negotiables, like dinner time with my family. Like, once in a while I'll respond to a message on my phone, but for the most part, my phone is usually charging because it's dead by the end of the workday. And I'm focusing on dinner time with my kids because I really don't want my kids to grow up seeing this, like, phone in my face. It's just not what I want for myself. So I really have to create boundaries, and it's a work in progress. I'm not perfect at it, but that's my goal, is to completely be dedicated. When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm not. And figure out when is that non-negotiable time when I'm not going to work. And I need to be strong with that, because someone messages you, they can wait 3 or 4 hours for you to respond. They're not sitting by their phone waiting for you to respond. It's totally okay. It's not going to make or break your business. So I think it's important to kind of remind ourselves of that. So again, your business is your business. The next thing that's important, once you've figured out how you currently spend your week, and you figure out how much time do I really want to spend on this business, figure out the logistics. What is truly possible, because you don't want to set yourself up for failure, and you also don't want to undershoot what's possible. You're going to set your business hours. And it took me a year to finally get that into my thick skull that I need to set business hours. I was sort of willy-nilly doing it throughout the day. And again, it was overwhelming me, and I was not as organized as I should have been. Wendy's right, I did always do my power hour, but it was kind of like spread throughout the whole day. Now I do it during a certain time of the day, and I feel so accomplished, and it's just a much nicer feeling. So set those business hours. Treat it like a business, And big key piece is get your whole family in on board with you. Now I know there are spouses, even on my team, who are not completely on board yet, but you still have to have that conversation that, there's certain things that you're going to need a little extra support. My husband's pretty much been supportive from day one, but there's been times where he was like, you're on the computer again, and so I had to figure out where I could be flexible with my business and where I also needed him to kind of pick up a little bit of slack. And so we've had those conversations, and now he understands, like, this week I've had 3 Zoom calls, and I'm like, I really need you this week. And, my kids understand too. But then on those nights, I make sure that I'm spending super quality time with them until it's time for the Zoom call. So that organization piece of knowing what's going on in your day has been really important for me with a busy family. And then when I say post your business hours, I write it in my book. So, I have days of the week and I'll write exactly my hours. I mean, you can write it up on your wall if you want to, but I remind my husband, I'll let him know, like, I have to work from this time to this time tonight, because he doesn't memorize it. And then you have to do them every day. You really do. There's going to be times when things come up and you'll miss certain things, but you really need to be as consistent as possible with whatever you figured out. If it's only an hour a day, it's only an hour a day. Be consistent with it. You will find that that's where you're going to start building your business, is that consistency, especially when you're busy. So these are my current business hours. Wendy's absolutely right. For the first year to year and a half, and I've been doing this 2 years, I would say in the last 6 months, I've upped how much I'm working. But before that, I truly did about 1 hour per day, not including my workout. So on here, this is just so you see what I do. You guys all know I'm a morning person. 4:45 to 6:15 is when I work, but that's also including my 30-minute workout. So truly, I do my power hour from 5:15 to 6:15. My alarm goes off at 4:30, but by the time I start my workout, it's 4:45. So from 5:15 to 6:15, I get my power hour done. So if the rest of the day goes to hell, I know I've at least done my power hour, and I'm really focused. And the reason I personally do it in the morning is because my family's all sleeping and I'm not, susceptible to little interruptions. It makes it easier for me. And then I put 12 to 12:30 in there because I often will check messages. I might check into my challenge groups and just do some little odds and ends then. And then at night, it's different each night of the week based on Zoom calls and things like that. And I have missed a Zoom call here and there. And sometimes those are the times where I just need to be with my family. But I never miss my power hour ever. I don't even know if I've ever missed a power hour since I've started the business. It's that important, I think, to build your business. Even when I was in Disney World, I was like 6 months into the business. I was like in line for a freaking ride, and I was like doing my thing. That was before I figured out how to manage my time better, but I still made sure it was a no matter what. So I work about probably 2.5 hours a day, roughly, during the work week. And then on weekends, I definitely put in a lot more time. I still get up at the crack of dawn on the weekends, unless I'm just overly tired. And that has happened, just like with the pregnancy and stuff. But most of the time I am up early. I try to get it done by the time the kids are eating breakfast. And then I'm able to spend some time with them. And then around nap time on Saturdays, I'll do a little bit of work, and then I'll kind of do some check-ins at night. And Sunday nights, I try to put some time in, because Sunday nights, I try to plan out my week. So I still feel like this works really well for me. It's not dipping in too much of my family time. This is like my favorite quote of all time. This is something that Melanie Mitro brought up at the leadership conference I went to in January. And this is the one thing that has helped me on those days where I just didn't want to do it, because we're all going to have those days where we're feeling less than motivated because of maybe things going on in our lives or whatever. That is a quote that's often up on my dry erase board. Do the things others aren't willing to do, and you'll get the things that others will never have. it's just one of those things. It's like, put in the time, suck it up, you can do it, and it will pay off. And it kind of goes along with the compound effect. If you haven't read that book, I really recommend it, because it's like you feel like those little things aren't mattering. They do. It adds up. It adds up. So it's just something that's really helped motivate me. Every Sunday, one of the things that I do, one of my tasks that I do every single Sunday is I create an exhaustive list. Whoops. Let me back up. Of things that I need to be done for the week. This is just an example, of some things that might be on your list. So it's everything that I could possibly think that I need to accomplish during the week, and include the power hour things that you need to do. Okay. The things that need to be done every day. So friend quality likes for my fan page. I do that every day. I only friend the ones that look like people that I have things in common with. Message 2 to 5 people per day. And that's not necessarily an invite. That's just a message. That's just part of the forming process of creating relationships or recreating relationships. So I do that every day, say hello, or, talk about something going on in their life or something along those lines. Inviting 2 to 5 people to a challenge group. I have done cold invites, and they have worked in the past, but most of the time my invites don't occur until I've talked to a person for a while, or that there's some sort of base of a relationship, and that's from that forming process, or if they've shown interest based on a post I put up. I really try hard to invite one person to the business opportunity every day. And again, it's not the first conversation I have with someone. It's usually after multiple conversations. My follow-ups, again, you have to figure out your system that works for you. I've recreated a system about 100 times, but figure out your system, but you have to be tracking every person that you're talking to. Follow-ups are the key. I've most recently been trying to be more proactive with creating post ideas, and staying organized with that helps, so that you're not like at the end of a busy day, oh my gosh, I got to put something out there, and then you just throw something out there. And I've done that. I've done it many times, but I'm trying not to do that as much. You just feel better when you have it sort of set up, or you have an idea of what you're going to put out there. Obviously working out, that's a no-brainer. Sundays, I do try to create an ad for my like page. I do one every week. I'm trying to convert my like page to be more of my business as opposed to my personal page. So I'm trying to make that transformation, personal development, emailing and messaging people. When am I going to talk to my working coaches? Sometimes it's on the fly because they might contact me. And staying in touch with my discount coaches. For me, obviously my weekly shout out, I buffer posts for my challenge groups mostly, checking in challenge group, Zoom calls, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's an example of like a list, and it might be longer than that because it depends on the week. So I'll write out my list on a sheet of paper, and then I plug it in. I take each item and I plug it into those hours that I've written in my agenda. So, you saw those hours, 4:15, or what I have, 4:45 to 6:15. So I'll put like 5:15 to 5:30 is when I'm going to do my saying hello to customers or saying hello to friends, to invitations, and whatever, all my invites I might do for that 15 or 20 minutes. Like I chunk it out and I write it out, so I know when I come sit down and I literally check it off my list. And I usually have no problem getting it done in that hour, getting the invites done. I try to plan out my posts for the day. I make sure my challenge groups are all set. I'll respond to any messages that came in after I went to bed because I'm an early to bed person. And I usually have a couple messages from people that emailed me the night before. So I do my power hour first thing in the morning. But again, like I said, plug in all those things during those business hours for your entire week. You will already feel accomplished by doing that because you're going to kind of be like, I know I'm going to get it done. Because when I sit down at, let's say you have a 7 to 8 time at night, you have a list of things you're going to do, put blinders on, do them, check them off, done. Don't make it more complicated than that. So again, no matter what's the power hour, it has to happen every day. If anything else, like I said, if the rest of your day goes to crap, like things happen, do your power hour, make that the first thing you do. It's like eat that frog, get it done. Get it done. It's just the most important thing in your business. And it's that personal development, which again, Wendy knows it took me a long time to get on board with that. I'm like, I don't have time for that. But listen to it on your car ride to work or whatever. I'm been a lot better. I pretty much didn't do personal development for a while. It is so important, especially because the business is going to go up and down. It's just the nature of any business. We want to keep ourselves in check and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Expanding your network, saying hello to 2 to 3 people, inviting 2 to 3 people, talking to one person about the coaching opportunity, following up with previous conversations, and tracking it all. So that's what I include in my power hour. It might vary a little bit, but I feel like those invitations and personal development are the top things that we should be focusing on, and it should be done every single day. So really, what do you do with it? Develop your plan, and it's one of those things where you kind of just have to, it's like the saying, just do it. You just have to do it. You have to get all the other junk out of your head. And all those trainings and things like Wendy was talking about are important, but I feel like we really need to make sure we get, sometimes when life gets crazy, get back to the basics, do the basics, and then focus on the other things. That's just my own personal, the way I've addressed it. Like I said, put the blinders on. And I literally, sometimes I have to just tell myself, put those blinders on. Don't worry about all the noise happening, especially when you're having a slow month. This month has started slow for me. And what Wendy was saying earlier, like I have like 6 people interested in coaching and are not pulling the trigger. But I'm confident that they will, many of them will in the next week. But it's just been like a slow start. And every morning I'm just like, don't worry about it. Do your power hour. I know it's going to pay off. It's just like that consistency. Keep the distractions out. You have to find a good space where you can work during those business hours. And then for me, I'm just, like I said before, I'm a visual person. I check off everything as I complete it and then do it every day. And you'll find that it's successful. And then what I do is like I said, at the end of each month, I'll evaluate my goals. How did I do? I kind of just do a self-check, and then I'll make new goals for the following month. And I try to up my goals every month. I just try to raise the bar a little bit for myself. And like I said, I'll make a new quote. I'll look at my calendar. What's next month going to look like? Well, I try to do that mid-month of the month before, so I kind of know a few weeks ahead. So I can start planning out what I'm going to be advertising for, who I'm going to be talking to about what, that kind of thing. But, it's just really being methodical about how you spend your time and being organized with it. And again, and I can't stress enough how much of a difference it made for me when I dedicated time, like, this is my family time and this is my business time, how much it made a difference for me. And my business grew. And I felt like I was spending less time on my business because I wasn't, checking Facebook all day long, throughout the day on my phone, because it's such a tempting thing to do when we have those smartphones and it's just like at our fingertips. So creating those boundaries really have helped me stay focused. Because even like a lot of these tips I got from the leadership conference in January, and I implemented them immediately. My business took off, like doubled my income in 2 months. I'm making twice as much now as I was in January, based on what I believe to be my time management and focus has been a lot more focused. So that's where I'm at. I think that's all I have for you. If I can.
I've got some.
Yep, that is the end of it. I'm like,
so, Sarah, awesome job. Super excited. Just because I have to be completely transparent here, totally got out of doing my power hour. It was like, I have to respond to this. I have to respond to that. I have to help my coaches. And I stopped focusing on my business. And so what I just did like 3 days ago was the background of my computer is that graphic that I made for our power hour group last week, the live power hour that we did. And as soon as I start to get distracted, it's like the first thing I see, like, no, you can't do XYZ. You have to go back to number one. Have you added 3 valuable people to your, to your network today? And honestly, sometimes it takes me longer than an hour, and I haven't responded to everyone's messages from Tuesday. Like, I've responded to potential customers, but there are some birthday messages I haven't even responded to yet, because you have to prioritize. And that's what's hard about this business, but so very simple. So thank you, Sarah, because sometimes you just need to go back to basics. It's so easy to do, but it's easy to get caught up in those other things too.
Well, especially when you're like building a team too,
Right.
because I actually find I love talking with my coaches and stuff, so once you start building a bigger team, like that's my favorite part. And, it's tempting to be like, oh, I'd rather, talk with, Jessica or Dana about something that's happening than getting this done. Get it done first.
Right.
You'll feel so much better about yourself.
Oh, I know. It's so true. And but the thing is, if you don't focus on your business, how are your coaches going to learn and grow if you're not thriving? And
Right.
I've actually had that negative feedback from some coaches, like, because I don't follow such a specific set schedule all the time, they think it's just too much for them. And they're like, I can't do that. I'm out of here. And so it's something that I have to recognize, that the more you treat it like a very specific business, no matter how much passion you have or the things that you love to do, if you can't at least stick to these very simple tasks, you're not going to be able to help train your team. Like, lather, rinse, repeat is what we keep saying in a lot of my elite groups. You can come up with the next best Coach Basics trainings, or how to really motivate your new rock stars. But at the end of the day, if you can't teach a very simple system for then your coaches to be able to do, and then pay it forward to their coaches, your team's not going to grow unless they figure it out on their own. And that's not something that we want to do. Like, we are our own independent business owners, but we're also all in this together. So why not make it easy versus making it harder? So Sarah, I had a question. When you write down your goals, do you have specific, I want 5 coaches this month, I want to sell 20 challenge packs, or is it volume or rank, or is it different every month? Like, how do you set your goals each month?
I do a Success Club goal for myself. I tried to do it for my husband, and we're trying. Because I recently, Wendy, when you told me you have to hit Success Club 10 every month, I was like, okay. So I have,
Right.
So it's been a Success Club 10 is my no matter what. And it used to be Success Club 5. And what's funny is, since I made that my no matter what, I have hit it every time. So
It's weird how it happens.
Mental shift.
Mm-hmm.
So Success Club 10, or I always have a Success Club 1. I have a volume goal now, which I used to not have a volume goal. I used to not even pay attention to it. It made a huge difference.
Just weekly volume, correct?
Weekly volume. Yes.
Week leg is what my question was.
Week leg. Yes.
Okay. It sounds similar, and I talk fast, so I understand. Okay. So just week leg volume. Okay.
I don't have any problem with my strong legs. So week leg volume. I'm looking up here. How many coaches I want to get to success? How many new coaches I want to get to success from last year and this year? How much I want to make monetarily per week. I do have that up there as well. I have financial.
Does that change every week?
It changes every month. So I do an average per month. So like my goal in March might be a number here, but then I always up it.
Okay. Yeah, mine changes every quarter. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, something.
It's whatever works for you. Yeah, I agree. Because my life coach just checks in with me on that stuff. So I'm a quarter.
And then how many coaches I'm going to add. So I think that's all of them. And then trying to get Greg to Success Club. That's my goal, is to eventually be me at 10 and him at 5.
Right.
So that's what I have on there.
And now that you have your second CBC, it's much smarter to obviously hit Success Club 10, because you're adding volume and Success Club points. Right. Not just in your first CBC. You and Greg and your first CBC are all cycling off of that. So pretty soon they'll be paying you to drink Shakeology.
Right. And I do have rank advancement goals too for both my business centers.
And that's every month?
Well, I mean, it should be. I kind of just have like a date in mind that I want them done by. I probably have it every month though.
Okay. So yeah, and that's reminder quarterly too. Just because, and for everyone on here that's new, I guess that's in general like corporate's average of what they recommend you should shoot for. Rank advancement every month for you. And when you're talking with your coaches, like you could say, get to diamond in 30 days. While you can, Brandy Bots got there in 12 days. You can also recognize that it takes some people a year to do that. But in general, the average is to rank advance once a quarter. So emerald in 3 months, diamond in 6 months, star diamond in 9 months. I know that seems insane. I get it. But this is corporate looking at the average of all Beachbody coaches that do work the business, and that is the average to shoot for. Okay. Kelly, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Thank you. That was really good. I have actually a few questions. My first one, so does each power hour, is it the same? Like in that screen you showed it, every power hour you do is the same, correct? And then you just add in the other things that were on your Sunday planning list, you just add that in at other times, or does each power hour look different?
For me, I make it the exact same. And the funny thing is I'll rewrite my power hour every single day. Like Sunday, like I said, I plug in all my activities for the week on Sunday, and it's like Groundhog Day. Every morning I write the same thing. It's just my power hour, but I write it down because I like to check it off.
Yeah.
It keeps me focused.
Mm-hmm.
When I don't write it down, I'm a lot more distracted. And then, yes, I fill in all the other things on the other times because, like I said, if there are days that things happen and emergencies happen or whatever, that I know if I don't get to it that day, I've gotten my power hour done. And I can try to make up for those things like on the weekend, the other things.
Yeah.
Really quick to interject. Like I said, I've always been pen and paper, but I've started using Streak and I love it. One of her, if you watch her videos, Brooke Lipoff is her name. She actually has a power hour pipeline, and it is check offable. And what's nice about it is when you're adding those 3 people, they go right in that box under, added value. And then you can go back and say, okay, 3 days ago, I added so-and-so. Have I gone to their page and commented or liked on their post? And it has it all chronologically. So then, you can look at people that you added 100 days ago and say, well, my gosh, I kind of haven't checked in with them. And the goal is to keep moving people through to the next step. But it's all in that power hour, so you can check it off. Like, have you checked into 3 groups today and added value? You just click it. And then you unclick them the next day, so then you can go back through. So that's another way for if you're looking for something that it's called Streak. It's a free app, I guess, through Google. As long as you have a Gmail account, you can use it. And it's also an app, so you can use it on your phone. And what I love about it too is if you send an email through there, it shows you who's read it. That's my favorite part about it initially, because if you're emailing your leads, it's a lot of times we don't know if they got it. Well, Streak will show you if it went to their junk mail or if they actually read it. That's just one of the things I really love. And her name is Brooke Lipoff, Lipoff. She has a whole series of trainings. So just for that, if you want your power hour to still be electronically tied in along with your contacts and when you added them, I love Streak, and I've been using it every day for like a week, and I'm really happy with it. But I know Sarah's pen and paper, and like Bonnie Engel is an insane rock star. She's pen and paper. So don't just think there's one way to do it. But I just wanted to add on the technology side of it that there is a way to have your power hour in there and check off. Yeah, oh, there you go. Amy is currently in Christine Dwyer's, or did you graduate? Boot camp? You graduated? She might be in it. She might have graduated. I'm not sure. But Christine Dwyer, that's now one of her new requirements to go through her boot camp is you have to use Streak. And yay, Amy graduated. Yay. Okay. Okay, Kelly.
Okay. I'm assuming you don't scroll at all. That's one thing I stopped doing, but I would spend like 2 hours scrolling. So good.
I do sometimes, but I try not to. When I'm during my office hours, I don't.
Okay.
Scroll. I might, if I'm just kind of sitting outside watching my kids play, I might scroll then, but not during business hours.
Okay. And then this is not really about the power hour, but I know you said if you're not working, you want to be spending time with your family. One thing that I've been really struggling with is like finding a balance, especially with like household chores. Like you don't even want to look at my house right now. It's so bad. So I guess how do you fit that in on top of being working, doing this and being a mom? How do you like keep up with laundry and stuff?
Well, funny you ask that. I have to admit, some of it does go to the wayside. I figure out what's the most important thing. And I do a lot of catch up on the weekends. Like I said, during those times that I'm not working, like I'm either spending time with my family or throwing a load of laundry in. Yeah, right, Sarah, exactly. During the week, my house goes to crap sometimes. And as my kids have gotten older, I'm trying to get them to be a little bit more responsible for taking care of certain things. But it's tough. I do a lot of catch up on the weekends. And like I said, I mean, when I went to that leadership conference, Melanie Mitchell was talking about in the beginning of her business, she said, our house looked horrible because she was so dedicated and focused. And I try to not be so tough on myself about it. And not that I want to have a messy house, but I'm trying to not, because I'm usually super anal about like, I don't like toys on the floor when I go to bed. Well, lately we have toys on the floor in our family room, and I'm just trying to be okay with it, because would I rather be, yelling at my kids to clean up their toys or frantically picking up toys? I don't really want to be that way right now, especially when we're all super busy. So I kind of figure out a balance of what am I going to figure out what I'm going to let go of. And the things that I'm not willing to let go of, like I have to have a clean kitchen after dinner, like it has to be cleaned up, so it's just one of those things. You just kind of have to figure out your balance.
There's a couple of other things I've taken from some other coaches. Obviously now being a single mom, I have a little bit different situation, but there are some husbands, and I don't think it needs to be like such this masochistic approach to it or misogynistic, that you can say, hey, let's talk about this. What are our goals for this business? If you want me to be making $10,000 a week or $1,000 a week or whatever your number is, do you think you could help out and do the dishes? You know what I mean? Like start building that partnership a little bit more, because while being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job, sometimes there are very specific expectations that go with that, right? Like your house needs to be clean, you need to have all the meals cooked, the kids need to be whatever. I'm just talking from my point of view. So then all of a sudden when you add something else in that takes some of that time away from those things, it changes the story. And that's when the story needs to be discussed again. Like, what are our goals? What do we see for this business? This is our business. That's the biggest thing that I've learned from talking to the other really successful Beachbody couples. Don't call it my business. Say, this is our business. How are we going to get it there? What do I need help from you? Another thing, and I know we all have different situations financially, but if you sell 2 challenge packs, that could pay for your house cleaner for that week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something to take the load off a little bit. Can you call the neighbor girl over to watch your kids, as a mother's helper, where you spend those 20 minutes. And that's another thing I do with personal development. Like I fold my laundry while I'm listening to my personal development. I do my dishes while I'm listening to my personal development. I take my once a week shower listening to personal development. You know what I mean? Like how can you tie it in to be more productive with that time? I think singular focus is extremely important, but certain things that are mindless can be a way to add more value to you and to your business. Just some other things.
Yeah, no, I agree. You definitely want your family on board, and that means husband picking up some slack, definitely.
And
they're benefiting from this too. I mean, come on.
And the thing that now that I've, been doing this a little bit longer and I'm spending more time with some crazy, insane coaches, I sit there in awe of the husbands. Like they love talking about Beachbody. They love how they will clean up the kitchen and will cook more, and how it's this big benefit that they get to do all these other things because of Beachbody. And these are like guys who are professional athletes, were very wealthy, doing whatever businesses, like guys that were doing none of this before, but it's somehow they've seen the light. And I sit there and I'm like, well, this is insane. That wouldn't have happened in my life, maybe potentially, but it's nice to see like how husbands can get on board if you can set your hours and be respectful of them, be respectful of this is your business together, and, you know, just kind of move forward with that. Sorry, there's like a loud bang, but no crying. I'm just going to keep talking right now. It's upstairs. Okay. So any other questions? Kelly, were you done or did you have more?
Well, I have one more, but I know we don't have that much time. So
No,
if anyone else
it's
has.
okay. If you need to get off, or if you want to ask a question, but you need to be off at like 10, just type it in the chat window and we'll answer it. And then I'll stop the recording. So you can always watch your question be answered if you need to get off.
Okay, so one more question. And maybe, Wendy, you can give some insight on this too, but one thing I'm really struggling with is adding 3 people to my network daily. Like, I'm kind of uncomfortable with adding people I don't know. So how do you guys do that? Do you just add people with mutual friends? Like, do people actually have conversations with you when you add someone random? Because it hasn't been working for me.
For me, I mean, I was at a point where I felt that way too. I was doing the friends of friends and blah, 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 doing all that. And then I felt like I was at a point where it would be almost, some of the people I'd be friending would be a little ridiculous. This is just for me personally. And then I was realizing I really need to focus on my like page. And so that's what I've been doing. And Wendy could probably maybe speak differently to how she's handling it, but I run ads every month to get likes. And so I do put a little money into it, and I will friend request the quality likes because I'm getting enough likes where I can friend request at least 2 to 3 people a day. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know how you handle it, Wendy, as far as adding to your network.
So there's a few different things. Some of it might be a mindset shift. Recognize that while we used to use social media as a way to share about our children and our families, and that, you know, you still obviously can do part of that now, but your Facebook page is your business now. It's not I'm going to post about how cute my kids are. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is you, but for a lot of my newer coaches, that's a mindset shift. I mean, your Facebook page is your business. So don't start arguments. Don't worry. And don't add creepers. I'm not saying that either, but recognize that you're not going to know everyone. So that's step 1. Step 2, and how I do, like I mentioned, that part of my power hour is posting in groups. And I'm not talking Beachbody groups. I'm talking like a diastasis recti group. I personally didn't have diastasis recti, but I have worked with a lot of customers who have, and so I'm knowledgeable about it to be able, and I want to learn more about it. So I post in that group. I ask questions in that group. I'm in a group for tandem breastfeeders. I'm not tandem breastfeeding anymore, but I did for many years. So you should be joining groups where you have common interests. And just like the people who should be attracted to your like page, you have common interests, you're going to get along. And if you post in one of those groups, it will take you potentially 3 minutes, post, once a day, or, I have 10 groups, and I kind of scroll through those groups. If they're on my power hour streak thing that I was telling you about. So I do 3, I post in there, I like and comment on some other people's things. And then once I see we're kind of in a conversation, that's when I add them, because now we have more in common and we've kind of become friends. So that's another way to do it. That's a free way to do it, obviously, to join groups of people that you have things in common with, whether it's Disney or your dog or baby carriers. The yard sale sites, I don't know. I personally don't. Mom sites, I think, are great. Remember, when you're on these, you are not on these to talk about Beachbody at all. Okay? You will be either kicked out of the group, or B, you will have no friends because people are thinking that you're on there just for ulterior motives. So you are on here to make friends, back to just being a human. So recognize that. So that's the free way to do it, is to join free groups. Write down your list of 10 things that you love to do that are not Beachbody, and then join these groups and start making friends. Another way, like Sarah mentioned, is your like page. That's where like pages are great because you can pay to play. It can be as simple as $1 a day, or like $10 for a post that's done really well organically. Organically means that you've not paid for it, but a lot of people have seen it or shared it. And then you make your audience extremely specific. Make it, anywhere. I mean, it can be anywhere from like 10,000 to 400,000, but make it specific so that the people that like or comment on that post, already have a lot in common with you because you've paid for these very specific people from Facebook. And then just like Sarah says, you go through them, you invite them to like your page. If they just liked the post but didn't actually like your page, there's a little click button when you go through post likes that you click on first. And then you start looking, obviously I'm in a training right now. It's Jesse Regan's training. And we're talking about this. Basically, if you can add just enough value and enough you, and to stop posting on your personal page, I know this makes people really uncomfortable, but that's when you're going to get that cold market, that warm market into your like page, and all of these brand new people. Like, you don't even really have to be adding these people to your network because they start coming to you, which is really what's happened to me in the last 6 months. Most of my challenge pack sales or new coaches are people who've just messaged me from my like page. Like, I've been watching you for a while, feel like I know you, I feel like we could be sisters, whatever. I'm ready to get started because they trust you, they like you, and they see that you're consistent. So that's obviously an easy way to add to your network. You don't even have to pay. Just being consistent, 5 to 10 posts a day on your like page. I know that might seem crazy to people. They don't have to be Beachbody posts, but the more you post, the more people will see that you show up. If you show up your own page in your own life, then you'll show up for them too.
Thank you.
Yeah, long answer. I'm a little windy sometimes. Sorry. Okay. So training on creating a like page and then boosting and managing your posts. Yes, I have them on my YouTube. I have both of those. But, this is a situation like it's investing in your business. I will be sharing all of what I'm learning from this training with you guys. But what's really great about some of the trainings I've taken is you talk with the experts. You can say, here's my brand. And they can say, no, that's not. Let's tweak it. Let's do this. Any trainings you take are a complete write-off. So, and you just have to really go into it with, I'm not saying you have to pay for trainings. I would never say that. But it does get to a certain point in your business where sometimes you need to go outside of the free things that are on YouTube or from me or from your upline coach or whatever. Sandy Krakowski is someone that I love. I am a PSMU person. I think there's a lot of value in that. Obviously, I just told you that I signed up for Jesse Regan's. And then I took the big bite and I signed up for Chalene Johnson's Marketing Impact Academy. So like I said, I'll be giving you feedback. You can choose as you will, but there's a lot of value in paying for training when you're ready for that. But I do have free ones, and all you got to do is go on YouTube and type how to create a like page. How do you boost your posts? And you'll have thousands of videos pop up. Any other questions? You friend every mom at school. You're that girl mom, Amy. Well, with your Snapchat, I would want to be friends with you too. Who is on Snapchat? Raise your hand. Okay. Someone that's not on Snapchat, unmute and tell me why not.
I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Okay. Okay.
My goal is to figure it out this summer, though.
Well, it can start really small. That's the thing, because it can just be a quick picture, or just get on and see what other people are doing. See other people that you like. And Amy, following me. I mean, obviously, I know like Kelly's really good. I love it. And Rachel just joined. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting any of you, and I want to add all of you. So if you have your Snapchat name, will you post it below if we're not friends yet? Mm-hmm. But Amy's like singing ghetto rap in her minivan with her jug of water. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love her. So obviously, and that's even if I didn't know her, if I saw that, I would totally connect with her. So it's really short live video ways that people just kind of see you and your crazy life. And, show your dirty house. Be like, holy wow, look at this. You only get a 1-second snap of it because I'm really embarrassed, but it's just a way for people to see that real you. Makes it more fun. You do love you some Bieber. Okay. Sparty try Frau. Okay. That's interesting. On that note, I will make this quick, bold umbrella statement. Your name should be the same across all social media sites. Because while I think Sparty Try Frau is a really interesting name, how is someone going to find you on Facebook if they just want to look for you? Amy doesn't know how to change hers. I don't know if it's when you start. I don't know. I'm sure you could Google, how do I change my Snapchat name? And then no. But your like page, your Instagram, your Facebook, all of those things should be consistent so that, the farther up you get in this business, people don't have to remember that you're, I don't know, Fierce Fit Mama or whatever. And that's why I used to be Fit Crunchy Mama. And while I still think I am, that you don't see that name really anywhere anymore because it's not my name. My brand is me. It's not Fit Crunchy Mama. And remember that. Any other questions? Sorry, I picked on you, Joy. I think that's a great name. I made
it so that way before I joined this, so that I could not have students friend me. So.
Oh. What's your thought on that? I know I have some teachers in here. What's your thought on wanting to keep that privacy so your students can't be all over your page? But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I teach college, and I don't want them in my personal life until after they graduate.
Okay.
And I don't want to be in their personal life. I want to have that separation just in case I know that too many people, or I know of people that have had overlaps and just get too personal, and I just don't want to deal with that.
It gets messy. Yep.
I teach kindergarten, so I don't really have to deal with that. But when I taught lower elementary, I was friends with some parents, and that's fine. But there is a liability, like if you're friends with like a junior high or high school student and they post something about, they were drinking or whatever, like you can get in trouble if you see it and don't say anything. And even if you didn't necessarily see it, just the possibility that you could have seen it, there's a major liability.
And for me, it was more keeping the relationship professional, where, I'm their teacher, they're my student. If we do something, like if I take them overseas, that's something totally different because they're allowed to drink over there, but most of my students are under 21, so I don't want to see their drinking pictures.
Right.
On that note, in Snapchat, you can block people. Same with Facebook, right? So if you see a student requesting you, can't you just block them? Or do you not know?
I've done that a lot lately.
I guess that's my question. Keep consistent.
Yeah,
but if you see someone sign up that you don't want to be the liability aspect, or you just think it needs to be completely separate, can't you just block?
Well, my thing with that is too, they can always share with somebody else. Or if I'm friends with one of them, other people can look at it. So.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you because obviously you're doing what's best for you and your life. I'm just trying to think of ways how I would, potentially try to handle that, because it's not an easy situation trying to keep professional 1 away from professional 2 when, professional 2 is more of an open book.
I feel like Snapchat's more controllable than even Facebook in a sense, but that's just me.
And if they really want to go to their friend's account to see you, then they're really quite special, right? They must really love you, teachers. But yeah, I see your point.
I see them. I hear about them sharing too many things, and see them sharing too many things. So that's it. In Snapchat, I totally agree.
I was with my friend Laura on the cruise, and she was like, Snapchat, that is that dirty sexual site. I'm like, no, of course, I'm sure some teenagers could use it like that, but in general, it can be what you want it to be at the end of the day. All social media can be used perversely. Anything could potentially be turned, to the dark side. But anyway, sorry.
I do friend my classroom parents because they've actually, several of them have like become customers. So
Okay.
that's been good.
That's interesting. Okay. So how about Nicole sorry, am I over talking someone? Okay. Sorry. Nicole, did you have something to ask? Or say you had your hand raised? Maybe that was on purpose or not. Okay. Maybe it was an accident.
I was going to say something. Christy, I am a junior high teacher, and I have had some friends or some students, former students, liking or trying to become my friends lately on Instagram and things like that. And they are graduated, so I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to allow it. But I am in the process of moving, and I was talking about living in Denison and something. And for some reason, I had a student blurt out, "Christy, you'd like to be in fitness." And so somehow they found my like page. And so now it's this joke in my one class. And I'm like, oh, great. So that I get a little nervous, and I'm totally posting appropriate things, but I just get a little nervous with, them being on that. And obviously it's encouragement and it's healthy things and all of that. But I do get a little nervous with that, with my students thinking like, they're on there, and I don't know. It's a little bit of.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Especially on your like page, if it does start blowing up with like 1,000 likes on whatever, how are you going to know? You're not going to go through 1,000 likes every day, or if you do have those big posts, it's just not something you're going to do. So yeah, I guess just being aware, but being you is, someone different than some other people who are like sexy blonde fit mom. You know what I mean? That's not
right.
So yeah, I can understand that. I still get questions from my ex-husband like, what did you post on Facebook today? I had 2 people comment or call me. I don't know, but I'm not worried about it. It's so strange. So, I mean, people will always misunderstand or misinterpret what you are writing. And so you can either worry about it, or you can just go forward with your best intention of representing who you are and being that positive force and real, and go from there. Any other questions? Oh, so you can't change a Snapchat name. You have to create a new account. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys. Either you can have a new account and just ask all those people again. I mean, how many of you are getting new customers from Snapchat right now? Kelly? People you didn't know, cold market. Oh, you're still muted.
I'm not. I've gotten 2 customers from Snapchat, but they both were people I know, but I'm getting new followers that I didn't know. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, I guess more what I mean, if some of you are either worried about, I don't know, people finding you, or you do want to change your name, I guess. How big is your following? Can you change your name and still request, the same 20 friends that you have, making it consistent? It's just something to think about.
One thing that I did share on the body burn call is there's like this new directory. I don't know if all of you are on that, but if you are looking to grow your Snapchat following, I forget what it's called, but you can put in your information, and then like I'm getting tons of followers from that. So if you are looking to do that.
Amy just Snapchatted me while we were on the phone and said, who wouldn't want to be friends with her? This is a really great picture. So I appreciate that immensely. But it's perfect. It's basically right on point. Okay, I don't know how to do that. Do I need to listen to your body burn recording?
Well, I can just post the website. I don't know it off the top of my head, but pretty much you put your Snapchat name, put in like 5 keywords about things you snap about, and then you're in the directory, and then people can go through and add you.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not a Snapchat expert. I was just wondering more so we could get the conversation moving of other social networks, other ways to kind of grow your market. So, I mean, Kelly, you've added people from that. That counts for your 3 people. So it's just something to think about. But yeah, I don't know how to do that. So
I'll post it in Fierce Focus Tribe.
Amy's
Or if you're
raising her
focused.
hand, or what are you one fingering us for?
There we go. So it's in the chat.
It's in the
Snapchat
chat.
directory.
Sorry, I was just looking at Snapchat and I was distracted. Obviously, yeah. Okay. Snapchat directory. Okay. And honestly, for those of you that have children, Snapchat is a really great distractor if you have kids that are like needing a little distraction, like if they're in bad moods or if you kind of need to get them moving along. It's a game changer for my children. I'm like, do you want to do the doggy face on Snapchat? And they like change right away because they can be happy dogs. And it takes a minute. And I'm not a huge media person, but it's funny. Like they think it's funny and they get their shoes on much easier, whatever. But it is something for us busy moms to have tips up our sleeve, and Snapchat is one of mine. Just FYI. So, alrighty. Any other questions? We're well past 10. Thank you all for staying on. Oh, I have to do our picture, our prize. Oh my gosh. Wear and share. What do I have? No, I'm gonna buy. It's a sale right now. So wear and share. Let me see who's still on. I should have done it at 10. I'm sorry. I did not. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up and down and pick this person. Kristen Idzikowski. Well, it says Idzikowski's iPad. I'm assuming that's Kristen. Are you still on? Where are you, Kristen? Say hi. No? Am I saying your name wrong? Not.
She's on.
She's on. Okay.
Yeah.
She hasn't won yet, has she?
Yeah, she won. Did you win before Kristen? I don't remember.
I think she did, and I don't know if I've sent her. Maybe I did. I have the whole list of people I still need to send things to. If you've won, has she won, Sarah?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I've won.
Sorry. Do I still need to send you something?
Nope, you sent me a tank.
Okay.
I'm good.
Goes to show you, I don't track as well as I should on certain things. But I have my list. It's just not in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to pick another winner. Sorry. Christy Vugtavine. I don't think you've won yet, right? No? You're still on. No, you haven't won. Okay, so message me what size shirt you want, and I'll hook you up. Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks for being on. Thanks for sticking around. I know 10:15 on a school night is not easy. Before you go to bed, check your downline. It's getting a little late to make some crazy changes, but potentially just to not wake up surprised tomorrow. Also, a little challenge, see what your week leg volume is, and then see what your team cycle bonus is going to be. Okay, so you get that math, because the more you do it, the more you'll be like, wow, I'm going to make $100 tomorrow or $10,000 tomorrow, whatever that number might be, but it's kind of more fun to not wake up as surprised. Okay. Righty, ladies. I don't think we have any guys on here, but either way, thank you. And I'll post the recording as soon as I can. Thank you, Sarah. You did an awesome job. Good night.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you.
wait.
Good night. I'll post